Night has a way of making everything softer. Even the busiest mind, one that has carried meetings, traffic, messages, and the gentle weight of responsibility, begins to loosen when the room grows quiet and the light becomes kind. If you are listening after a long day, let the day stay where it belongs. Outside the door, out on the sidewalk, somewhere beneath the streetlights. In here, for a little while, there is only the calm rhythm of your breathing and the slow, steady comfort of the present moment. Imagine a small lamp on a wooden table. Not a bright lamp, nothing harsh, just a warm pool of light that doesn't hurry you. Beside it rests a single clay tablet, palm-sized, imperfect at the edges, dust gathered in its tiny grooves like time itself decided to settle there. The marks pressed into the clay are wedge-shaped, patient and quiet. Cuneiform, a writing that does not shout, a writing that waits. And as you listen, you can let your shoulders drop a little, as if you're setting down a bag you didn't realize you were still holding. You can let your jaw unclench. You can let your hands rest. This story will not rush. It won't demand that you solve anything. It will simply walk beside you like an old friend on an empty street, pointing out small, beautiful things you might have missed. There is a very old tale, older than our calendars, older than the names of many cities, about visitors who came from the sky. Sumerian stories call them the Anunnaki, a word that feels like a whisper when spoken slowly. For thousands of years, the simple version has been passed from mouth to mouth. They came to Earth for gold, and they shaped humanity to do the work for them. It is a neat story, almost too neat. And in the quiet of night, neat stories sometimes begin to open, like a folded map easing out. What if gold was only the surface of it? What if the true reason was something softer, sadder, more human than greed? Something like survival, like homesickness, like the slow fear of fading. Some interpretations of the ancient tablets describe the sky travelers not as triumphant conquerors, but as beings who grew weary in Earth's air, as if this beautiful world was also a difficult one for them to endure. The idea is not offered as a certainty, but as a gentle possibility, the way you might wonder about a distant light on the horizon without needing to walk there tonight. Tonight, we will not argue with the past. We will not try to win. We will simply listen. Picture the land between rivers, Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates move like slow, silver threads through a wide brown earth. The air there, in the evening, can be warm and still. You might hear insects in the reeds. You might smell baked clay cooling after a day of sun. In a city like Eridu or Uruk, a small courtyard could hold a jar of water, a bowl of dates, a lamp that breathes a steady flame. And somewhere under the same stars you have above you now, a scribe presses signs into wet clay as if he is leaving a note for the future to read when it feels ready. The tablet on our table, this one in the warm circle of lamplight, carries a line that feels like it was meant for night, a hint that something divine was mixed with the clay of earth, not as a thunderbolt, but as a careful act. Not an act of violence, but of blending. A drop of memories stirred into mud, a quiet transfer like pouring a little light into a lantern so it can travel. And here is where the story becomes tender. Because when we talk about creation, we often imagine suddenness, lightning, miracles, commands. But the ancient world, especially the world of clay and water, understood making as something slow. You knead, you shape, you smooth the edges, you wait for drying, you do not scream at the clay, you breathe with it. So imagine for a moment that the first human in these stories was not a slave made only for toil, but a vessel made to carry something precious, not a burden, but a trust. The way a boat carries a traveler across a dark river, the way a seed carries a future orchard, the way a heart carries love across the ordinary days. If you like, you can let that word settle. Vessel. A vessel is not a prison. A vessel is a safe place for something that would otherwise spill away. And if you've ever felt, in the middle of an ordinary afternoon, a sudden quiet ache you couldn't explain, an unnamed longing, a sense that you are searching for something without knowing what it is, this story offers a gentle frame. Perhaps it is not a flaw. Perhaps it is simply the mind remembering that it was made to hold more than schedules and screens. Perhaps it is the old clay remembering the shape of starlight. Before we drift deeper into tonight's gentle journey, remember to subscribe to Ancient Sleep Story. Here, you'll always find peaceful stories that soothe the heart and quiet the mind. Where are you listening from tonight? Leave a comment. Your presence adds warmth to this quiet corner of the night. Now let's return to the lamp. Outside the room, the world keeps moving. Cars pass, elevators hum. Somewhere a late night shift begins, but here, in the soft pocket of this story, time slows until it feels round again, like a river stone warmed in the hand. The tablet speaks in images more than facts. It mentions a deep place called the Abzu, sometimes imagined as a sweetwater ocean beneath the ground, sometimes as a hidden reservoir where life begins. The word itself feels cool on the tongue, Abzu, a hush of water under stone. And it is easy, in the quiet, to see why ancient people would describe mystery as water. Water holds reflections. Water remembers footsteps. Water erases and returns. Water is patient. If the sky travelers, real or imagined, literal or symbolic, found themselves struggling here, perhaps they would have looked to Earth's own deep reserves for help. Not only the gold in the rock, but the living chemistry in roots, blood, breath and bone. Perhaps the true treasure was the way Earth keeps renewing itself season after season without asking permission. The old stories also mention a motherly presence, a shaping hand, names like Ninhursag or Nintu, figures who feel less like rulers and more like caretakers. In our gentle telling, she is not distant. She is the warmth of skilled hands. She is the quiet patience that turns chaos into form. She is the part of every human being that still knows how to tend, how to nurture, how to begin again. And the more you listen, the more the myth begins to feel like a mirror, because no matter what you believe about ancient tablets, you have already lived the truth of the central image. You have carried something through difficulty. You have held a family together. You have held yourself together. You have held your hopes through years that tried to sand them down. You have been a vessel in the most human way. So I want to offer you a question, slowly, like placing a warm cup on a table. If you are a vessel carrying a ray of light, what is that ray of light today? A small glimmer of hope, a loved one, or simply the ability to sleep soundly? You don't need to answer out loud. You can let the answer be private. You can let it be small. Even a tiny light is still light. In the stories, there comes a moment when the gods grow disturbed by the noise of humans. In our version, the noise is not blame. It is simply the vibration of many lives. It is the sound of a new species, learning to breathe, learning to speak, learning to dream. Anyone who has tried to sleep in a house full of children knows that even love can be loud, not because it is wrong, but because it is alive. And sometimes when something is alive, it changes everything around it. This is the seed of our gentle curiosity. What exactly was meant to be carried? What was meant to be preserved? Was it knowledge? Was it a spark of consciousness? Was it a kind of longing that could not survive in bodies that were fading? We will not answer quickly. We will walk through the night the way a lantern walks through fog, slowly, kindly, letting shapes reveal themselves at their own pace. Here, no one rests alone. Every story from the past is a soft lantern in the dark, gently lighting our way tonight. If tonight's story reminded you of a beautiful memory, feel free to share it below. And if this story brought you calm, leave a gentle comment for yourself. Take a slow breath in, as if you are drawing the night air through a window cracked open just a little. Let it out and feel how the exhale makes more space inside you. In that space, imagine a long road of packed earth, pale under moonlight, leading toward a stepped temple rising like a quiet hill. Ziggurat stones cooling after the sun. A dog sleeps near a doorway. A jar of water sweats softly. Reed boats bump together at the riverbank, making a gentle wooden click like a metronome for ancient hearts. Nothing is urgent here. Even the mysteries seem willing to wait until you are ready to hear them for the softest dreams. For now, simply imagine the scribe again, pressing one more mark into clay. The tablet is still damp. The lamp flame leans slightly as if it is listening. And somewhere beyond the window, the stars keep their long, quiet watch, waiting for us to begin our slow journey into the riverlands, toward the cool, stone corridors of the first temples, where a different kind of treasure may have been hidden in plain sight. Settle in again, gently, as if you are lowering yourself into warm water that holds you without effort. In this room, in this hour, you do not have to chase any thought to the end. Let your mind wander like a lantern carried by a slow current. If a detail drifts past without landing, let it pass. Night is generous that way. Now imagine we have stepped out of the small circle of lamplight and into a wider landscape. We are in the land between rivers, where the earth is flat enough for the sky to feel immense, and where water is both miracle and routine. The Tigris and the Euphrates glide, bending around reeds, feeding canals, slipping beneath bridges of wood. In the last light of evening, the surface catches a faint ribbon of gold, not the heavy gold of crowns, but the simple gold of sunset reflected on moving water. Along the riverbank, small sounds gather, the splash of a jar being filled, the soft slap of wet clay, a distant murmur of voices carried by wind. The air smells of silt and cooked grain, of smoke from a hearth, of something green and alive. A breeze passes and the reeds bow together as if the river has told them a secret. If you walked here slowly, you would feel the ground cool where shade gathers and warm where the day's heat still lingers. You would see fields laid out like calm geometry, straight irrigation lines, careful plots, human patience written into the soil. And then, in the distance, rising above low rooftops, you would see it. A ziggurat. It does not look like a threat. In the night, it looks like a mountain built for stillness. Its steps are broad, its walls thick, its silhouette simple against the stars. Stone holds the day's warmth and releases it slowly, like a long exhale. A hand brushes dust from a stair. A traveler pauses just to feel how steady it is. In stories, temples are called gates between worlds. Tonight, think of them as shelters for attention, places where the mind stops scattering, corridors where footsteps naturally slow, rooms where even a restless heart learns to match the rhythm of the walls. We enter not with fear, but with reverence for calm. Inside the temple complex, the air changes, it becomes cooler. The light becomes softer. An oil lamp burns behind a lattice, and its flame throws gentle shadows that move like sleeping birds. The floor is smooth where many feet have passed. The scent of incense is faint, resin and dried herbs, subtle enough that it feels more like memory than perfume. Somewhere deeper, water is present, even if you cannot see it yet. You can hear it drip, pause, drip, steady as a patient heartbeat. This is where a word returns to us, cool as a pebble, Abzu. In Sumerian imagination, the Abzu is the deep, sweet water ocean beneath the world, the hidden reservoir from which life rises. It is not wild like the sea. It is deep, calm and constant. The Abzu is the place where water waits before it becomes river, and rain, where the world is nourished from below. If you want, picture a sacred chamber beneath the temple, where a pool reflects lamplight and turns it into trembling gold. Or picture a darkness filled with gentle water, like a night sky turned liquid. Either way, it offers something soothing, the sense that beneath the noise of the surface there is a quiet supply. And perhaps that is why these old stories feel comforting when told slowly. They remind us that calm exists beneath urgency, as surely as water exists beneath stone. Now let your imagination follow a corridor. It is narrow enough that the walls feel close but not tight. The stone is cool, almost silky where hands have brushed it over generations. Your footsteps are quiet. The air carries a mineral scent like rain on rock. Above you can sense the weight of the ziggurat, steady, protective, as if the building itself is a promise. Nothing will fall on you here. In the half-light you see carvings, simple lines, symbols, creatures half-remembered. Not monstrous, just the kind of shapes a mind makes when it tries to honor mystery with art. And this is where we return, gently, to the sky travelers. Not as invaders, not as heroes, but as distant beings described through human eyes. Eyes that used metaphor because metaphor was kinder than certainty. In the ancient world, an unfamiliar force might be called divine, not from ignorance, but from reverence for the unknown. So we can let gods be a soft word tonight. A word that means something beyond the everyday. Many tellings say these beings came for gold. Yet listen to how the temple feels, cool, carefully built, designed to preserve. Listen to the Abzu beneath it, a reservoir of life. Notice how the corridor holds a kind of calm, as if the world here is gently managed. What if the deeper desire was not wealth, but stability? What if Earth, with its cycles and its stubborn ability to renew, felt like refuge to those who were fading? What if the garden spoken of in later traditions, Eden, paradise, a protected place, was not only reward or punishment, but shelter? A dome of quiet where a fragile kind of life could continue. Picture a garden at night, leaves dark and glossy, water glimmering in channels, fruit heavy on branches. It feels sealed, not in a cruel way, but in a caring one, like a greenhouse that keeps tender seedlings safe from harsh wind. Eden as protection, Eden as quiet mercy. In that mercy, the story of humanity becomes less about control and more about connection. If a spark was placed into clay, perhaps it was placed the way a candle is lit from another candle, not to diminish the first flame, but to let light travel farther than one wick can manage. You do not have to believe this as fact. You can let it be a bedtime metaphor, a gentle lens. Sometimes the nervous system relaxes when it is offered meaning that does not threaten it. In these corridors, sound behaves differently. A single breath becomes audible. A small movement echoes, then fades. It is easy to understand why people sang here. A voice meets the stone, and the stone answers with a soft return, like the building itself is humming back, quietly, steadily, without judgment. If you are listening from a modern place, a condo, a small house, a room above a street, notice how your own space becomes a kind of temple at night. The walls around you hold your day the way stone held ancient heat, and then they let it go. The ceiling above you is a quiet sky. The bed beneath you is steady ground. Even the smallest room can become a sanctuary when you allow it. Take one slow breath in, let it reach the bottom of your ribs. And as you breathe out, imagine the corridor widening, not into danger, but into safety, into a calm that has been waiting for you for a very long time. Here, no one rests alone. The past is near, but it is gentle, like a hand on your shoulder. And somewhere near the heart of the temple, we find another presence in the old stories, a motherly hand. Ninhursag, some tablets call her, or Nintu, the one who shapes. Names shift, but the feeling remains. Caretaker energy, steady patience, skillful kindness that knows how to make life fit its world. Picture hands, picture warmth, picture the calm competence of someone who has made bread 1,000 times and still treats each loaf like it matters. In the gentler version of this myth, creation is not an explosion, it is a craft. Clay is gathered from the riverbank. It is mixed with water until it becomes workable. It is kneaded until it holds together. And then, softly, respectfully, something else is added. Not violence, not fear, just an essence, a drop of memory. A quiet signature, as if the sky left a small note inside the body. Remember the stars, but do not be afraid of the dark. When you hear that, you might feel recognition, because we all carry signatures from those who came before. A grandmother's phrase, a parent's habit, a loved one's laugh. We carry them without effort. We become vessels for them, and somehow it feels natural. So if the old tale says we are vessels, perhaps it is not an insult. Perhaps it is a reminder that being human has always meant carrying something gentle through time. Now let us step back out to the river for a moment. The night air meets your face. The sky is clear. Stars hang like steady beads. The river reflects them, broken by ripples, turning the heavens into moving patterns. A boat drifts, tied loosely, bumping the dock with a quiet knock. Somewhere, a dog sighs in its sleep. Somewhere a lamp is extinguished and the darkness becomes fuller. Not frightening, simply complete. And in that darkness, curiosity takes root. Not sharp curiosity, not urgent curiosity. Curiosity like a slow bloom. If these visitors needed survival, what kind of survival was it? If they were fading, what were they hoping to preserve? And if humanity was shaped as a vessel, what exactly was placed within us that still whispers, sometimes in dreams? We will not force the answers. We will follow them the way you follow a river at night, by the sound of water, by the feel of cool air, by the quiet certainty that the current knows where it is going. For now, let the corridor behind us remain dim and safe. Let the Abzu beneath it continue to hush. And let the next step of our journey wait just ahead, where an old list of kings, a slow turning of time, and a gentle change in human lifespan will begin to tell its story, like sand slipping through a patient hourglass. Let the river return to your ears. Even if you live far from any wild water, perhaps in a city where the nearest river is a highway of headlights, your body still understands what a current feels like. It understands steady movement, patient repetition, the way a sound can carry you without demanding anything in return. So tonight, imagine the Euphrates again, dark and slow under the stars, and imagine us walking beside it with an old record in our hands. Not a book bound in leather, but a list pressed into clay. A list of kings. In the Sumerian world, there is a famous document modern scholars call the Sumerian King List. It is part history, part myth, part lullaby of names. It tells of rulers who reigned for astonishing lengths of time, tens of thousands of years, sometimes more, before the great waters came, before the world shifted, before the clock of human life began to tick in a more familiar way. We will not debate it tonight. We will not argue about numbers. We will simply listen to what the pattern feels like. Because patterns can soothe the mind. Picture a small courtyard where the day has cooled, The stones underfoot still hold warmth, and above, a slice of moon hangs like a thin silver bowl. A scribe sits beside a tray of wet clay. He is not hurried. He has learned that clay rewards gentleness. Press too hard, and it cracks. Move too fast, and the signs lose grace. Beside him are pebbles, simple river stones used for counting. He touches one, then another, as he murmurs a name. Alulim, Alalngar, Enmen Luana. The sounds are not meant to be understood by the whole world. They are meant to be carried like a tune that survives because someone keeps humming it. Between each name, he pauses, listening to night insects, listening to the river breathe. When he writes the lengths of rains, he does it the way you might mark seasons. Not as proof, but as rhythm. The numbers are large enough to feel like myth, yet the act of writing is practical, grounded, steady. In that contrast, you can feel the ancient mind at work, one hand in the soil, one hand in the stars. If your own life has felt measured lately, deadlines, calendars, the pressure of not enough time, let this scene be a balm. Let the courtyard teach you time can be counted, yes, but it can also be listened to. Tonight you don't have to calculate. Tonight you only have to breathe slowly. At first, the rains are long, so long they sound like mountains. You can picture them as broad plateaus in the landscape of time, calm stretches where nothing seems hurried. Then, slowly, after the story's floodline, the rains grow shorter. The plateaus become hills, the hills become gentle slopes. The numbers come down like a bird gliding toward land. It is like watching an hourglass. At the top, the sand seems endless, suspended. Then it begins to slip, and once it begins, it keeps going, not in panic, just in inevitability. In the King List's rhythm, time becomes something you can hear. Long, long, long. Then less, until human life starts to resemble the length we know. In our gentle telling, this is not a punishment. It can be a kind of balancing. Imagine a new vessel, newly made, carrying a bright spark. If the vessel is too unstable, too stretched, too heavy, the spark might flicker out. A shorter lifespan in this soft interpretation becomes a safety design, a way for life to renew itself, to adjust, to try again, to keep the flame moving forward through many hands rather than asking one hand to hold it forever. And if that thought lands in you with even a small comfort, let it. Because so many modern worries come from the pressure to hold everything alone forever. To be perfect, to be unbreakable, yet the old stories, told slowly, remind us that renewal is part of the design. Now, as the river runs beside us, we come to another gentle image, the making of a human. In some harsher tellings, the creation scene is described with sharp edges. We will smooth those edges the way a careful potter smooths a bowl. Tonight, creation is a quiet ritual. A craft in a calm chamber, clay from the riverbank, water poured with patience. Hands that know how to wait. The essence added to the clay is not described with gore or fear. It is described as a trace, something subtle, like a single spice in a pot of stew that changes the whole aroma, a drop of sky memory, a small signature of distant origin. Not a weapon, not a threat, but a thread. Imagine the moment as gentle as dawn. A lamp burns low. A bowl of clay sits on a stone table. The air is cool. Outside, wind moves through reeds and the reeds whisper back. Inside, a presence like Ninhursag, motherly, steady, leans close, shaping not merely a worker, but a being who can breathe Earth's air and still carry something delicate. When the form is finished, it is not marched away, it is watched, the way you watch a newborn animal take its first unsteady steps. It is guided, it is given water, it is given rest. And here, the story introduces a name that sounds like a soft footfall: Adapa. In some traditions, Adapa is a kind of first wise person, one who receives knowledge, one who stands near the threshold between human and divine. In our version, Adapa is not a hero of conflict. He is a symbol of awakening. The first moment when a mind looks up at the night sky and feels not just fear or awe, but recognition. Adapa walks along the river at dawn. Mist hangs above the water like a thin veil. His feet press into damp sand. He hears birds waking. He feels the quiet labor of the world beginning again. And inside him there is a new kind of stillness, a room where thoughts can gather. He learns to name things. He learns to notice patterns. He learns that reeds bend in wind, that water always finds the lower place, that stars return in their seasons. He learns that the world is not only noise, it is also rhythm. But the old story also hints at a door that remains partly closed: long life, eternal staying. Adapa's knowledge may be wide, but time still moves him forward. In our telling, that isn't tragedy. It is tenderness. It means the gift is not in living forever, but in living deeply, enough to pass the spark along. If you are listening with tired eyes, perhaps you can feel that too. You do not need endless days to matter. One evening of calm can be enough to change a week. One gentle word can be enough to soften a heart. One night of good sleep can be enough to make tomorrow kinder. Now let's return to the mysterious noise again, the complaint that humans became too loud. Tonight, translate noise into resonance. Imagine that when the vessel first begins to carry the spark, it hums. Not audibly, not like a machine, but like a living instrument. Many instruments together create vibration. The city becomes a chorus. The chorus becomes a wave. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by crowds, by notifications, by the constant bright insistence of modern life, you already understand this scene. Not as blame, but as overstimulation. Too much input for a fragile nervous system. So the old story's tension can be softened into a lesson. Even life needs quiet. Even a sacred spark needs rest. In the myth, waters rise, a floodline that divides before and after. We will not make it terrifying. Imagine it instead as a great washing, a long rain, a swelling river that covers the lowlands not with rage, but with inevitability. Water arrives as it always has, filling what is empty, smoothing what is jagged, erasing sharp footprints, leaving behind clean silt for planting. A sealed vessel floats through it, an ark, a capsule, a closed space of safety. Picture it rocking gently as if rocked by a patient hand. Inside, breath continues, seeds remain dry, a small lamp is kept alive, not drama, just endurance. And when the waters withdraw, the world looks rinsed. The air is clearer. The earth is new with mud. The first sunlight after the storm feels soft, like forgiveness. After this line, the gods in the story begin to retreat, not in anger, but in distance. They move back into stone corridors, into the Abzu, into places where their presence becomes a memory rather than a daily sight. They leave the surface to humans, to farmers, builders, singers, parents, tired workers, quiet lovers. They leave the vessel to live its own life. And something about that feels familiar too. Because each of us at some point inherits the world from those who guided us. Teachers step back, parents release. A mentor's voice becomes an inner voice. The hand that once steadied you becomes a memory you carry. You become quietly your own keeper. If that feels heavy, let it soften. You do not have to carry it all tonight. Tonight, you are allowed to rest. You are allowed to let the ancient river carry the story for you. Let your breathing slow. Let the muscles around your eyes loosen. Let your mind drift back to the temple corridor. Cool stone, faint lamplight, water whispering beneath the floor. And in that corridor, a new kind of curiosity waits, one that is not about fear, but about beauty. If a spark was placed into clay, could it still echo in us as a gentle déjà vu? Could it appear as dreams of flight or sudden familiarity with a place we've never seen? Could it be why on certain nights the stars feel like a home you almost remember? We will walk toward those questions slowly, as if we are carrying a lantern through fog. Nothing sudden, nothing sharp, just the steady comfort of wonder. There are nights when the mind becomes a wide, calm field. The day's thoughts, emails, errands, unfinished conversations start to drift apart like leaves loosening from a branch. The nervous system stops bracing. The breath grows deeper without being asked. And in that gentle opening, small mysteries can arrive without startling you. So let's keep walking, slowly, beside the river. The water is darker now and the stars are brighter, as if the sky has leaned closer to listen. Along the bank, the reeds sway in a soft rhythm. Their whisper is not language, but it feels like understanding. Somewhere a lamp flickers behind a window. Somewhere a late worker sets down a basket and lets their shoulders sag with relief. In this ancient place, life is simple and heavy and tender, just like it can be in a modern life too. We have followed the story through temples and king lists, through long ages and shorter ones, through the idea that something was placed into clay with careful hands. Now we come to a gentler twist, not an explosion, not a shocking revelation, just a shift in how we hold the idea. What if humans were not made only to work? What if we were also made to carry, quietly, patiently, something precious that needed a living home? In some tellings, the old myth suggests that the spark within humanity was a kind of solution, a bridge, a vessel that could move through Earth's air and seasons, that could endure where other bodies might falter, and that could pass its cargo forward, generation by generation, like a lantern passed through a long tunnel. If you sit with that image for a moment, it becomes almost soothing, because it makes the human life feel less random, less like a scramble, more like a gentle continuation. You are not required to solve the cosmos tonight, but you may be allowed to sense that you belong to something larger than your to-do list. And if you have ever had a dream that felt like a memory, an unfamiliar street that still seemed strangely known, a sky that looked like home even though you've never been there, this is where the story offers a soft explanation, not proof, not certainty, just a possibility that rests lightly on the heart. Imagine for a moment that memory can live in places deeper than thought. Modern life teaches us to treat memory as something stored only in the mind, like files on a computer. But the body has its own remembering, the way your hands know how to tie a shoe without instruction, the way your legs find the path to the kitchen in the dark, the way your heart speeds up when a familiar song plays, even before you recall why. The ancients might have said, "The blood remembers." Tonight, let that be poetry, not science. A quiet code in the blood, a lullaby folded into the muscles, a soft map written into the nervous system. In this gentle myth, the vessel does not carry a heavy burden. It carries a small warm ember, something like longing, something like resilience, something like the ability to dream beyond the horizon. And perhaps that is why, even in a busy modern world, people still look up at the night sky and feel their chest loosen, not because they understand the stars, but because the stars feel like they are recognizing them. We return to the temple again, not as a place of power, but as a place of listening. Inside the thick walls, the air is cool. The floor is smooth, lamps glow behind clay shades, turning light into honey. Somewhere water drips, somewhere a priest or simply a tired person who has learned the comfort of ritual sings a low note that does not demand attention, only steadiness. The stone responds, not loudly, not dramatically, just enough that you can feel sound returning to you, softened, rounded at the edges, as if the building itself is saying, "I heard you, you are here, you are safe." This is where another gentle idea enters the story. The temples were built not only to honor gods, but to shape the human nervous system, to slow the breath, to steady the mind, to create a room where vibration could settle. In our telling, the temple becomes a kind of instrument, an old wooden violin of stone, built to hold quiet music. And perhaps that is why the ancient people felt they could speak to the unseen there. Because when the world becomes quiet enough, you can hear your own inner life more clearly. Outside the temple, the city continues. Dogs bark once, then fall silent. A baby cries, then is comforted. A pot simmers, then the fire is lowered. In all of this, you can sense the gentle truth. Life makes sound, and then it returns to quiet. Now, there is an old motif in these stories, something like bread from light, sometimes called manna in later traditions. We will not treat it as a debate, only as an image. Picture a pale powder fine as morning mist, gathered in a bowl before sunrise. It looks almost luminous in the dim light, as if it holds a soft shimmer. When mixed with water, it becomes a simple dough. When warmed, it becomes nourishment. It does not taste like luxury. It tastes like survival, made gentle. In the story's mood, it is a symbol of something subtle that keeps life going, a clean energy, a quiet gift, a reminder that the universe can be kind in small ways. If you have ever eaten something warm late at night, toast, soup, rice, when your body needed comfort, you understand this image. Food is not only fuel, it is reassurance. It is the world saying, you can keep going, but you don't have to do it alone. So tonight, let bread of light be the feeling of warmth spreading through the chest. Let it be the small relief of finally lying down. Let it be the kindness of your own bed waiting for you without judgment. And now we reach the most tender discovery of all, the dream of flight. In the older stories, the sky is both home and distance. People look up and wonder where the gods live, where souls go, where birds vanish to. But in our telling, the dream of flight is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to soothe you. Because flight is what the body imagines when it wants freedom. Not freedom from responsibility, but freedom from weight. In dreams, you might rise above rooftops, you might glide over a river. You might float through a corridor of stars as quietly as breath moving in and out. And when you wake, you might feel a faint sadness, not because something terrible happened, but because the dream was beautiful and you didn't know where it came from. This myth offers an answer like a warm blanket. Maybe the dream comes from something very old, a fragment of memory folded into the species, a gentle echo of a time when the sky felt closer. Or maybe it simply comes from the part of you that has always known you are more than your stress. Either way, it can be comforting, because it means your strange, soft dreams are not mistakes. They are the mind's way of making space. If you've felt déjà vu, standing in a place you've never been, yet sensing a quiet familiarity, imagine it as a ripple from that deeper code. Not a warning, not a prophecy, just the nervous system catching a pattern that resembles something it has carried for a long time. A certain angle of light, a particular hush in the air, the way wind moves through a narrow street. Suddenly the moment feels like it has happened before. And rather than being unsettling, it can be gentle, like recognizing an old friend in a crowd without needing to speak. In the ancient city, a person might have felt this too. They might have stepped onto the ziggurat terrace at night, the bricks cool under their bare feet, the sky open above. They might have looked at the stars and felt a quiet tug in the chest, the way you might feel when you remember a childhood home. Not sharply, softly. They might have whispered a prayer, not for miracles, but for steadiness. Let me sleep. Let me be safe. Let my family be held. And the wind would have answered, not with words, but with presence. If you are listening now, let that same presence find you. The room you are in is your temple tonight. The blanket is your soft brickwork. The pillow is your small altar of rest. The sound of your breathing is your low hymn. And the story, the old story of clay and stars, becomes a gentle companion rather than a demand. Here is the soft twist, stated simply, as if we are placing it on the table beside the lamp. Perhaps you were never meant to be only a worker. Perhaps you were meant to be a vessel of tenderness, carrying light through ordinary days, carrying memory through sleep, carrying hope through the quiet tunnel of time. If that idea comforts you, let it stay. If it feels too big, let it be small. Even a tiny ember is enough to warm a room. You can let your eyelids soften now, as if the night is brushing them with warm fingertips, inviting you to drift unafraid. Now take one more slow breath and notice how your body becomes heavier in the best way, like a stone settling into sand. Notice how the mind grows less interested in proving anything and more interested in simply drifting. Because ahead of us the river continues, and with it the next part of our journey, a gentle reflection on why forgetting can be a mercy, why not knowing everything can be a kindness, and how rest itself might be the safest way to carry a spark through the night. There is a kind of kindness hidden inside the way we forget. It may not feel kind in the middle of a hard week when your mind is full of unfinished things, when you wish you could remember every detail perfectly, when you worry that forgetting means you are failing. But in the quiet language of the body, forgetting is often a form of protection, like eyelids closing when light becomes too bright, like a hand pulling back from a hot surface without needing permission. So tonight, let's treat forgetting not as a flaw, but as a soft shelter. Imagine the ancient riverlands again, after the lamp has been lowered and the courtyards have gone still. The ziggurat stands against the night like a patient guardian. In the streets below, a few late footsteps fade. A woven mat is unrolled. A blanket is drawn up. Somewhere, a tired worker leans against a wall and exhales, finally allowing the day to slip away. The old stories say humanity carried something sacred, something subtle, an ember of memory, a spark of distant origin, a quiet code that sometimes rises as wonder, déjà vu, or the dream of flight. And yet those same stories also suggest that we do not hold the whole truth in conscious thought. We hold it in quieter places, in the pulse, in the breath, in the gentle ache of longing that appears without explanation. In that space, the myth offers a tender idea. Perhaps we are meant to forget so that we can live. Because if a vessel carried its cargo in full view all the time, if the light inside it shone too brightly, life might become unbearable. A lantern is useful not when it blinds, but when it softly guides. The wick must be sheltered, the flame must be protected from wind. So the story turns its face toward mercy. In our calming version of the myth, the amnesiac quality of humanity is not a punishment. It is a design of compassion. It is the body saying, you may rest, you may be ordinary, you may cook dinner and pay bills and laugh at a simple joke, and still be carrying something precious without having to stare at it all day. Let that land gently. If you have felt anxious lately, notice how anxiety often comes from trying to hold too much at once, too many possibilities, too many outcomes, too many invisible responsibilities. The mind tries to become a lighthouse that never turns off. It scans the horizon for storms that may never come. It keeps the body alert long after the moment has passed. But the nervous system was not built to stay bright forever. So forgetting becomes a dimmer switch. Forgetting becomes the soft curtain pulled across a window at night. Forgetting becomes the way the world says, the sun will return. You do not have to watch for it. In the temple corridor, imagine a stone bench where someone sits quietly in the dark. The walls are cool. The air smells faintly of clay and mineral water. A small oil lamp burns somewhere far away, but it is not the main light. The main light is the darkness itself, thick, safe, and wide enough to hold all questions without answering them. This is the kind of darkness you can trust, and within it, the story whispers, you don't need to solve the mystery of the past to be worthy of peace. Sometimes the most healing thing is not understanding more, but carrying less. Think of the river silt that settles after a storm. It drifts, it sinks, it becomes quiet. It does not fight the bottom. It rests there, and in resting, it becomes fertile. Your mind can do the same. You might have come to this video with thoughts that felt like sharp stones in your pocket. Worries about health, family, money, time, loneliness, the feeling of being behind. Tonight, let the story be the river that gently loosens those stones. You don't have to throw them away with force. You only have to set them down for a while. And if you can, let your breath become the guide. Inhale slowly as if you are drawing cool air through a temple doorway. Exhale softly, as if you are letting the day's dust fall from your shoulders. Again, in, out, nothing dramatic, just steady. Now return to the idea of the vessel. A vessel is trusted because it knows how to hold without spilling, but it also knows when to close its lid, not in secrecy, but in safety. A jar seals water so the water stays clean. A cradle holds a child so the child can sleep. A story wraps meaning in metaphor so the meaning does not overwhelm. So if there is an ancient ember in you, call it hope, call it resilience, call it the longing for home, perhaps it is allowed to remain partly hidden. It can glow quietly. It can warm you without demanding attention. This is why the myth's soft twist is so gentle. It does not ask you to become extraordinary. It asks you to become rested, because the work of carrying light is easier when you sleep. In Sumer, night was not empty time. It was sacred time. The world cooled, the canals slowed, the heat left the walls. People became smaller under the stars, and in that smallness, they found relief. They could stop pretending they were in control of everything. You can do that too. If your mind tries to plan tomorrow, you can say, kindly, not now. If it tries to replay the past, you can say, gently, thank you, but not tonight. You are not refusing life. You are giving your body a chance to repair. And in that repair, something subtle happens. The spark is carried more safely. Think of how a candle burns longer when the room is still. Think of how a phone lasts longer when it is not running every app at once. Think of how your heart feels steadier when you are not holding your breath. Rest is not weakness. Rest is maintenance. Rest is devotion to the future. Consider for a moment the modern kind of noise that follows you into bed. Not the joyful noise of a market or the warm noise of family, but the thin, bright noise of screens, headlines that never end, numbers that update, messages that arrive with tiny chimes. It can make the mind feel like a room with the lights left on, even when the body is asking for darkness. In the Riverlands, night brought a natural dimming. Lamps were small, conversations softened. The last task was done by hand, and when the hand stopped, the task truly ended. There was no endless scroll of worries, there was only the sky and the slow certainty that morning would come. You can borrow that certainty now. Imagine setting your thoughts on a clay tablet and placing it on the table. You don't have to break it or hide it. You simply set it down. The tablet can wait. Tomorrow you can read it if it is still important. Tonight, you is allowed to be unburdened. And if a thought returns as thoughts do, you can greet it like a passing traveler. You can nod and let it continue down the road. You do not have to invite it to stay the night. Some people believe that the past lives inside us like dust in the folds of an old garment. Not messy dust, soft, fine, almost invisible. When you shake the garment in the sun, the dust rises, sparkles for a moment, and then falls again. That is how memory can be. It rises in a dream, glint, and then returns to rest. You do not have to chase it. Let your bed be the gentle floor where the dust can settle. In that settling, your body remembers how to be. Now there is another tender layer to the old tale, the feeling that we are connected across time, not only through facts but through sensations. A sudden calm at the sight of moonlight on water. A feeling of comfort in a hallway lit by one small lamp. A strange familiarity with the smell of warm clay after rain. These may not be memories you can name, but they can still be real in the body. The body does not require explanation to relax. It only requires safety. So tonight, let the story give you safety. Here, no one rests alone. You may be in your own room, but you are part of a quiet circle of listeners, each of us lowering our shoulders, each of us letting the day slide away. If you feel like it, you can leave a gentle comment for yourself later, as if you were leaving a small lantern on the porch for another tired traveler. Now imagine the ziggurat terrace again. The bricks are cool, the wind is mild. The city below is a scatter of tiny lights. You look up and the stars do not rush you. They have been there through countless human worries, and they have never once demanded that a person be perfect. They only shine, and you too can simply be. If you are carrying a ray of light, it can be small tonight. It can be as simple as the willingness to rest. It can be the hope that tomorrow will feel a little easier. It can be the quiet knowledge that your life, even in its ordinary moments, is part of a long, tender chain of living. Now, as we prepare to drift into the next part of our journey, let the ancient river widen into something calmer still. In the distance, water gathers in a broad, dark basin. The Abzu waits beneath the world, not as a threat, but as a deep reservoir of quiet. And somewhere within that quiet, the story is ready to offer you one more gentle truth. That the most beautiful things often arrive in silence, and that you are allowed to let them arrive slowly, like dawn. Take your time, dear listener. If your eyes are heavy, let them be heavy. If your thoughts are still fluttering, let them flutter a little longer. Night does not demand instant stillness. It invites it, the way a warm room invites you to loosen your coat and finally exhale. Imagine we are back in the temple again, but deeper this time. The entrance is behind us now, and the city sounds have faded into a distant hush. The corridor is narrow, lined with stone that holds the coolness of underground places. Your steps are slow and soft, not because you are afraid, but because something in you naturally chooses quiet here, like a candle flame choosing steadiness when the wind calms. A small lamp burns in a niche. Its light is amber, gentle, almost sleepy. It touches the wall and reveals tiny grains in the stone, flecks that sparkle faintly as if the rock itself remembers sunshine. The air smells of mineral water, clay dust, and the faint sweetness of resin that once burned in offerings. Somewhere beneath the floor, water continues to move. Drip, pause, drip. A sound like patience. This is the place where the ancient mind imagined the Abzu, sweet waters beneath the world, a hidden reservoir that never runs out. Not wild, not crashing, not dramatic, just present, just steady, just quietly alive. And perhaps that is why the Abzu feels so comforting in a bedtime story. Because it suggests that calm is not something you have to create from scratch. Calm already exists. It is waiting underneath the noise, the way cool water waits beneath sun-warmed sand. If you have carried stress today, let that idea hold you for a moment. There is a quiet supply, there is a deep place. You can lean on it. Now, in some tellings of these old myths, the temples were more than houses of worship. They were instruments, rooms designed to shape sound, to shape attention, to shape the nervous system. The stones were thick, the corridors were measured, the ceilings were high enough to let breath feel spacious, voices lowered naturally, as if the architecture itself was teaching the body how to relax. Tonight, we will keep it simple and gentle. The stone listens, not like a person listens, but like a riverbank listens when you sit beside it, like a pillow listens when you lay your head down. Like the dark listens when you finally stop talking to yourself and just breathe. Inside the corridor, you could whisper a single word, rest, and it would travel a few feet, soften, and return to you as a faint echo. The echo would not judge, it would not correct you, it would only return saying, "I heard you." And if you have felt unheard lately, if you have felt like your days are full of performing, explaining, proving, enduring, then perhaps the idea of a listening stone is strangely soothing, because it offers a kind of companionship that asks nothing back. In the stories, people brought their questions here. They brought their hunger, their grief, their gratitude. They brought the worries of crops and children, the ache of loneliness, the fear of change. And the stone did what stone does best. It held the sound until it faded into quiet. There is wisdom in that. Not everything needs an answer. Some things only need a place to be said. So if you want, you can say something silently now, just in your mind, a small truth, a soft wish, a simple sentence like, "I did my best today," or "I'm tired," or "Please let me sleep." You don't have to make it perfect. The listening stone will understand. Now let us follow the corridor to a chamber where water gathers. The room is dim, the walls are cool. In the center, there is a shallow pool, fed by an unseen source. The surface is still enough to mirror the lamp flame as a trembling thread of gold. When you look into it, you see not only light, but depth. You see the feeling of depth. This is where the story's gentle mystery begins to glow again. If the sky travelers, real or imagined, needed something from Earth, perhaps they needed what this pool symbolizes: renewal, continuity, the ability to recover, Earth's quiet talent for healing itself through cycles. Gold may have been the surface story, but beneath the surface, water is the older treasure. Water can be filtered. Water can be stored. Water can be carried. Water can keep a flame alive by keeping bodies alive. In that sense, the myth becomes less about greed and more about survival, less about conquest and more about refuge. And if you have ever needed refuge, you understand the tenderness of that shift. Because refuge is not a sin. Refuge is a human need. Now picture for a moment a garden again, Eden if you like that name, at night. Not a place of punishment, but a place of protection. The air is humid and gentle, leaves shine darkly under moonlight. Water runs in narrow channels, making a soft sound like whispered counting. Fruit hangs heavy and calm. The whole place feels held, as if an invisible roof keeps harsh winds away. A greenhouse of life, a dome of quiet. In the old imagination, such a place could be designed not to trap, but to preserve, not to control, but to keep something fragile alive until it can stand on its own. And here we return to you, the listener, in your modern room. Your room is also a kind of Eden tonight, not because it is perfect, but because it is protected. The door can be closed, the lights can be lowered, the world can be kept at a distance for a few hours, the body can be tended like a tender plant. If you're comfortable, let your shoulders drop again, let your hands become warm, let your breath lengthen by one small degree. Now the story offers another soft image, the idea of a sealed vessel. In earlier parts, we imagined a capsule drifting through floodwaters, rocking gently, keeping seeds safe, keeping a small flame alive. Tonight, we can make that image even quieter. Imagine a simple boat in a canal tied to a post. It doesn't travel tonight, it only rocks. The rope creaks once, then settles. The boat becomes a cradle on water, a moving bed. It is sealed not with metal, but with the calm intention of someone who knows how to protect what matters. A vessel is not built to fight the river. A vessel is built to cooperate with it. And perhaps that is the secret of endurance. Not pushing against every current, but learning which currents can carry you safely. If you have been pushing lately, if your days have felt like swimming upstream, let this image soothe you. You are allowed to stop paddling tonight. You are allowed to float. Now in the chamber of water, the lamp flame leans and the pool reflects it. The reflection looks like a star fallen into liquid. It trembles, but it does not go out. And this is where we can speak again of the spark carried inside humanity, not as a loud destiny, but as a quiet resilience, a tendency to keep going, a small light that persists through tired weeks and imperfect years. Some nights that spark is a big thing, love, purpose, a dream that warms your chest. Other nights it is small, the ability to make tea, the willingness to try again, the simple act of lying down and letting yourself be cared for. Both are enough. Here, no one rests alone. Every listener is a small lantern tonight, and all our lanterns together make the dark feel kinder. If tonight's story reminded you of a beautiful memory, you can share it when you're ready. But for now, let your mind stay quiet, like the pool at the heart of the temple. And if you feel the edges of sleep approaching, soft, slow like a tide, let it come. The ancient stones will keep listening. The Abzu will keep humming beneath the world. Before we let the corridor fade completely, step with me into a small, ordinary room in the city below. A woman kneels beside a low table, grinding grain with a smooth stone. The sound is soft, shush, shush, steady as breathing. She mixes the flour with water and a pinch of salt, not as a ritual of power, but as a ritual of care. The dough becomes smooth beneath her palms. Nearby, a child sleeps on a mat, mouth slightly open, one hand curled as if holding an invisible thread. When the bread bakes, warmth spreads through the room. The scent is simple and golden. It is not the dazzling bread of light of legends, yet it carries a quieter kind of light. The light of being fed, the light of being held by ordinary tenderness. Outside on the ziggurat terrace, a watcher sits wrapped in a shawl. He looks at the stars quietly, without urgency. He doesn't need to own the sky to be comforted by it. He simply lets the constellations arrive one by one, as if the universe is placing small beads on a dark cloth. And here is the gentle bridge to your life. You have also done small rituals of care. You have made food, turned down lights, washed your face, brushed your teeth, pulled a blanket over your shoulders. These are not trivial acts. They are how a vessel stays safe. They are how a spark is carried forward night after night. If you like, you can ask yourself softly, kindly, what is the smallest light you carried today, right now? And the next part of our journey will be ready when you are. A gentle walk through the everyday lives of the river people, how they baked bread, lit lamps, watched the sky, until the myth and the ordinary become one calm, continuous river. For now, breathe once more and feel how you do not have to carry the whole night in your hands. The night can carry you. Tonight, let the story become even more ordinary, because the oldest truths often live in the simplest scenes. A lamp turned low, a bowl washed clean, a door latched against wind, a breath released at last. And if the myths of Sumer feel distant, it helps to remember that ancient people also had long days, tired backs, and thoughts that followed them into the dark. Their world was different, but their bodies were human. Their hearts still knew worry. Their hearts still knew comfort. So imagine a quiet street in the river city late at night. The walls are made of mud brick, pale in moonlight. The street is narrow enough that voices would echo, but tonight there are no voices, only the soft shuffle of sandals from one late traveler, and even that fades quickly, swallowed by the hush. Somewhere a cat steps lightly along a ledge, tail slow, eyes bright. Somewhere a curtain moves as a breeze slips through a crack. In a small home, a lamp burns behind a clay shade. The light does not spill far. It rests like a warm hand on the floor. The flame flickers once, then steadies, as if it too has decided to settle. Inside, a man sits with his back against the wall, knees drawn up, a cup of water beside him. He is not a priest, not a king, not anyone history will name. He is a person who worked all day, lifting, carrying, bargaining, fixing, waiting. His hands are rough, his shoulders ache, but now, in the quiet, his breath slows and the day begins to release its grip. If you listen closely, you can hear the sound of his exhale. It is simple, human, and deeply familiar. On the other side of the room, a woman folds cloth with careful hands. She moves slowly, not because she is weak, but because she has learned that slowness keeps the mind gentle. Each fold is a small act of order. Each fold says, "This is my space, this is my shelter, this is the corner of the world I can tend." A child sleeps nearby, curled like a comma, holding nothing, needing nothing, trusting the dark. The child's breathing is the softest music in the room. And in that moment, the myth, the sky visitors, the temples, the Abzu, feels less like a story about gods and more like a story about what the human nervous system has always needed: a safe place, a steady light, a rhythm that does not demand. Outside, the river moves. The city's canals carry water with a faint, repeating sound, like a lullaby written by the current. Reed boats knock gently against posts. Somewhere, a watchman walks the ziggurat steps, his lantern swinging in a slow arc. Each swing paints the bricks with a moving stripe of light, then returns them to darkness. It is peaceful, and in peace, the mind becomes curious in a softer way. In the day, curiosity can feel sharp, like a question that insists on an answer. But at night, curiosity becomes something else, a warm wondering, like turning a smooth stone in your palm. The man in the room has heard stories, like everyone has. He has heard of the Abzu beneath the temple. He has heard of the old kings who ruled for ages that sounded impossible. He has heard whispers of beings who came from the sky. The stories have traveled through marketplaces and courtyards, through family meals and late-night conversations. But he does not need to decide whether they are true. He only needs to feel what they do to his heart. And what they do tonight is this. They remind him that life is part of a long river. He looks at the lamp flame and thinks of the flame as a small star brought indoors. He thinks of how easily a flame can be blown out by careless motion, yet how faithfully it burns when sheltered. He thinks of how his own spirit feels similar, not fragile in a shameful way, fragile in a precious way, like something worth protecting. He takes another sip of water, cool, clean. The sensation travels down his throat like a gentle stream. In the old stories, water is always present. The Abzu is water beneath stone. The flood is water over land. The rivers are water that feeds the fields. Even the clay tablets begin as wet earth, shaped by water. And maybe that is a soft clue. The thing that keeps life going is not conquest. It is care. It is nourishment. It is the quiet persistence of the elements that hold us. If the sky visitors needed anything, perhaps they needed what water represents: renewal without drama, the ability to begin again each morning, the ability to wash away heat and dust, the ability to keep the body alive so the inner spark can continue to glow. You can let that thought rest inside you, because you too begin again in small ways. You wash your hands, you drink water, you take a shower. You close your eyes and let sleep rinse the mind. You return to yourself. Now the woman finishes folding cloth. She smooths the last edge. She places it in a basket. Then she sits, and for a moment she does nothing at all. She just listens. In the distance, a dog barks once, then quiets. A night insect chirps. The river answers with its steady murmur. This listening is not idle, it is medicine. It is the body checking, am I safe? And when the answer is yes, the body releases tension that it carried without permission. If you are listening from your own room tonight, you can do that check too. Notice the surface beneath you. Notice how it holds you. Notice the temperature of the air. Notice the sounds, maybe a fan, maybe distant traffic, maybe a quiet house. Let your brain register the simplest truth. In this moment, you are here and you are allowed to rest. Now, in the myth, there is the idea that humans might carry a quiet code, something that shows itself in dreams and déjà vu. In the man's half-sleep, the code rises gently. He lies down on a woven mat. The lamp is dimmed, shadows deepen, his eyelids grow heavy. And in the space between waking and sleeping, an image appears. A long corridor of stone, cool and quiet, with water whispering beneath it. He sees a pool reflecting a trembling thread of light. He hears a low hum like a distant singing bowl, like a temple answering a voice. He doesn't feel afraid. He feels strangely comforted, as if the dream is saying there is a deep place beneath your worries. There is a reservoir of calm. You can drink from it. He drifts further. Now he dreams of standing on a terrace under stars. The sky is enormous and gentle. The stars do not glare, they glow. And for one quiet moment, he feels a soft familiarity, like the sky has always known his name. This is the kind of dream that can make you wake with a calm sadness, the way you might feel after visiting a childhood memory. Not because it hurts, but because it is beautiful. In our gentle story, this dream is not meant to prove anything. It is meant to soothe. It is a reminder that wonder can be safe. And wonder, when it is safe, can be healing. Because wonder loosens the tight grip of worry. Wonder invites the breath to deepen. Wonder gives the mind something spacious to rest inside. Now let's widen the scene to the whole city. Across many rooftops, lamps glow softly behind small windows. Each lamp is a tiny island of light in a wide sea of dark. And if you could look down from above, you would see the city like a constellation on Earth, points of warmth scattered across mud brick and stone. Each point is a person trying to rest. Each point is a household tending its small Eden, its protected dome of quiet. Each point is a vessel carrying a ray of light through the night. Here, no one rests alone. Even if you cannot see the other lamps, they are there. Even if you feel alone, the night is shared. And the past, in its gentle way, is breathing with you too. The watchman reaches the top of the ziggurat and pauses. He sets his lantern down beside him. He sits with his back against cool brick and looks outward. The river is a dark ribbon. The fields are quiet. The horizon is wide. He thinks briefly of the old stories. He thinks of the Abzu under the temple. He thinks of the beings who might have come from the stars, weary and searching. He thinks of the motherly hands that shaped clay into a form that could live here. Then he thinks of something simpler, the way his feet feel after climbing the steps, the way his chest rises and falls, the way the night wind cools his face. And he realizes, without needing to say it, that the true gift is not knowing everything. The true gift is being able to rest in not knowing, to let mystery exist without turning it into a threat, to let questions float like boats on a canal, rocking gently, not sinking, not. If you have carried heavy questions lately about your future, your health, your choices, your relationships, let the watchman teach you this small skill. You can set the lantern down, you can sit, you can let the horizon be wide, you can breathe. In a moment, we will follow the story toward a soft expansion, the idea that time is not only loss, but a gentle weaving, that every generation is a thread, that even when we forget, the larger song continues. But for now, stay with the lamps. Stay with the window light. Stay with the steady breath. Very gently now. And if sleep is approaching, let it come like a slow tide, covering the shore without force, leaving everything smooth. If you are still awake, you are doing perfectly. There is no right speed for drifting. Some minds loosen quickly like a knot sliding free. Some minds loosen slowly like a hand gradually unclenching after a long day. Either way, the night welcomes you without judgment. So let's keep the pace gentle. Imagine the city again, seen from the ziggurat terrace, lamps like scattered stars, the river like a dark ribbon, the fields like quiet fabric stretched to the horizon. The watchman sits with his lantern beside him, letting the wind cool his face. He is not thinking in sharp sentences now. He is thinking in feelings, in rhythms, in the soft sense that life continues no matter how small one person feels beneath the sky. And in that soft awareness, the story turns from myth into reflection. Because even if the tales of star travelers are only tales, they still offer something true. We are connected across time, not only by history books, but by the shape of human longing, by the way we all look for shelter, by the way we all carry small lights through dark nights. In the older parts of our journey, we talked about the Sumerian king list, about reigns that sounded impossibly long, then shorter again, like sand slipping through an hourglass. We softened the meaning into a gentle thought. Perhaps shorter lifespans were not a curse, but a mechanism of renewal, a way for life to keep moving, to keep adjusting, to keep passing the ember forward. Now let's linger with that idea. Imagine time not as an enemy, but as a loom. In a quiet room, a woman sits at a simple wooden frame, weaving threads into cloth. The threads run taut, parallel, steady. Her fingers move slowly, repeating small motions that create something strong and warm. She does not rush, because rushing makes tangles. She works at the speed that keeps the pattern smooth. This is what generations are like. One life is a thread. It begins, it stretches, it ends. But it does not vanish. It becomes part of a fabric. It becomes something that can wrap another body, shelter another heart, hold warmth through the seasons. In that sense, a human lifespan, no matter how short it feels compared to the vastness of history, is not small. It is essential. It is one strand in the cloth. And if the myth says we are vessels, perhaps it is simply another way of saying, you are a carrier in the weave. You hold something and you pass it on. You do not have to hold it forever. You only have to hold it faithfully for as long as you can. That can be comforting because it means you do not have to solve everything alone. You are part of a continuity. Even your tiredness is part of it. Even your quiet efforts, unseen by the world, are part of it. Now the watchman on the ziggurat thinks of his father, who once sat here before him, years ago. He thinks of how his father's hands looked when they tied rope or fixed a tool, hands shaped by work, hands that still knew how to be gentle. He thinks of the small phrases his father used, the way he cleared his throat before speaking, the way he laughed softly at certain jokes. Those details live in the watchman now, not as facts to recite, but as rhythms inside his body. If you think of someone you have lost or someone far away, you may know this feeling too. Their presence is not gone. It has simply changed form. It lives in your habits, your voice, your kindness, your choices. It lives in the way you move through the world. That is the weaving. That is the quiet code. And perhaps that is what the ancient myth is pointing toward. Beneath its stars and temples, the way something can survive by becoming part of many bodies rather than one. This is why the story of forgetting can be a mercy, not because the past is unimportant, but because the past does not need to be held in one conscious mind to continue existing. It can be distributed, shared, woven, carried gently. Now let's return to the image of the Abzu beneath the temple. The Abzu is a reservoir, a deep supply. Think of it as the collective calm of all the generations who learned to rest. It is the memory of 1,000,000 nights when people lay down, looked at the stars, and decided to trust the dark. It is the accumulated wisdom of letting go. When you sleep, you join that reservoir. You add your breath to the long, quiet breathing of humanity. You are not alone in the act of resting. Rest is ancient. Rest is communal. Rest is part of the weave. Here, no one rests alone. Now the watchman lifts his lantern again and begins to descend the steps. His sandals make soft sounds on brick. He moves slowly, carefully, because even in his duty, he respects the night's quiet. Each step down is like a gentle exhale. At the bottom, he passes through the city's narrow streets. Lamps glow behind windows. Some households are still awake, speaking in murmurs. Most are asleep. The air is cooler now and the smell of river mud is stronger, earthy and clean. He pauses by a canal where water flows through a stone-lined channel. The sound is steady, soothing. He watches the surface for a moment. A reflection of the stars trembles, then it smooths again. And in that watching he understands something without language. The stars above and the water below are doing the same thing. They are holding light. The stars hold it in the sky. The water holds it on the surface. And humans hold it in their bodies, in their small daily lives, in their ability to keep going with tenderness. This is the soft climax of our story. Not a battle, not a twist that shocks, but a quiet recognition. Life is a series of vessels. A lantern is a vessel for flame. A bowl is a vessel for water. A temple is a vessel for stillness. A human is a vessel for memory, love, and the ability to dream. And the most beautiful things often arrive in silence. In that quiet recognition, the myth feels less like a strange tale and more like a soothing philosophy. You were never meant to carry your life in tension. You were meant to carry it like water in a cup, carefully, gently, without spilling. If you are still awake, take one slow breath in and let it be the thread entering the loom. Take one slow breath out and let it be the thread settling into place. Now we can widen our lens again beyond Sumer, beyond any one myth, and see how the same patterns repeat across human history. People building shelters, lighting lamps, telling stories to make the dark feel kinder, and always looking at the sky and feeling both small and strangely held. And in the next part, we will return toward the present moment more directly, bringing the story's gentle meaning into your own night. How you can seal your vessel, how you can set down your questions, how you can let the past become cool stone, while your mind becomes drifting water. For now, let the loom keep weaving softly. Let your body be heavy. Let your thoughts become fewer. Let the night be your shelter. If your breathing has slowed, you are already traveling. Not to a distant place, not to an unfamiliar world, but inward, toward the quiet reservoir beneath your thoughts. The night is doing its work, softly, without announcement, the way the river shapes its banks by touching them again and again. Tonight, we have walked through ancient corridors and along river canals, through lamps in windows and stars above rooftops. We have held a gentle myth about sky travelers, survival, and a spark placed into clay, not as a burden of proof, but as a warm lens, a way to see life with less harshness, with more tenderness. Now we arrive at a simple, calming practice hidden inside the story, to seal the vessel, not as a prison, not as a denial, as protection. In the riverlands, a person knew how to store what mattered. Water in a jar covered to keep dust out. Grain in a clay pot sealed against damp. A lamp cupped by a shade to keep the flame steady. A baby wrapped to keep warmth close. The ancient world was full of small seals, small acts that said, "This is safe now, this can wait." Your mind can learn that too. If you are listening in bed, imagine your thoughts as little grains of sand. They have been blown around all day. They have gotten into corners, they have made the air feel dry and restless. Tonight, you do not have to sweep them perfectly, you only have to put a lid on the jar. Let tomorrow hold tomorrow, let tonight hold tonight. Now, imagine the watchman again, returning to his home after his rounds. The city is quieter now. Even the dogs have stopped barking. The canal water moves with a smoother sound, as if it has become sleepy. He enters his small house, he closes the door. The simple click of the latch is a kind of seal. The outside world stays outside. Inside, his wife has left a lamp burning low. The light is dim enough to feel like dusk. It does not pull him into wakefulness, it guides him gently toward rest. He takes off his sandals, he washes his hands in a bowl. The water is cool and the sensation is immediate, like the day dissolving from his skin. He dries his hands slowly, and with that slow movement his shoulders drop. These are rituals of sealing. Not spiritual performance, just nervous system wisdom. In modern life, you may have your own versions, turning off a bright screen, lowering the volume, setting your phone face down, drawing the blanket up, adjusting the pillow. Each small act says to the body, the shift is happening. The day is ending. You can let go. Now in our myth, the sealed vessel also refers to something larger. The ark, the capsule, the container that carried life through floodwaters. We softened it earlier into a calm image, a boat rocking gently preserving seeds and breath and a small flame. Tonight, we bring that image into your body. Imagine your body as the vessel, your ribcage as the walls, your breath as the water within, your heart as the small flame. When you lie still, you are not wasting time. You are protecting the flame. You are letting it burn without being blown by the winds of worry. If you have anxiety, your nervous system may keep trying to open the lid and check, is everything okay? Did I forget something? What if something happens? But you can respond with kindness. You can tell your mind gently, we are sealed for the night. We will check again in the morning. You don't have to say it with force. You can say it like you would speak to a tired friend. Now let's bring back the question we asked earlier, the one meant to touch the heart without demanding effort. If you are a vessel carrying a ray of light, what is that ray of light today? A small glimmer of hope, a loved one, or simply the ability to sleep soundly? Tonight, let your answer be simple. Maybe your ray of light is the fact that you made it through the day. Maybe it is a person who texted you something kind. Maybe it is your own resilience, quiet and stubborn. Maybe it is your bed waiting for you like a safe shore. Whatever it is, you can hold it gently like a candle in cupped hands, and then you can cover it so it doesn't flicker out. Now the story turns toward its softest wisdom. Not everything needs to be understood before you can rest. This is especially hard for the modern mind because modern life trains us to explain, analyze, decide, optimize. The brain becomes a machine for problem solving. It forgets how to be a river. But the river does not solve the landscape. The river simply moves through it, shaping gently, never arguing. The river reminds us you can keep living without knowing everything. Tonight, you do not need to decode the ancient tablets. You do not need to decide what is myth and what is history. You do not need to locate every meaning behind every symbol. You only need to let the story carry you into stillness. That is the purpose of a bedtime myth, not to prove, but to soothe. In the temple corridor, the stone listens again. In the Abzu beneath, the water hums. In the city's homes, lamps dim. The world becomes a series of small, protected spaces, each one sealed against the day. And you are one of those spaces. Here, no one rests alone. Now, if you feel your body heavy, let it be heavy. If you feel your thoughts thinning, let them thin. Imagine each thought as a small boat on the canal. It drifts into shadow. It becomes quiet. It does not sink. It simply disappears from view, safely moored in the dark. A thought about work, moored. A thought about money, moored. A thought about a conversation, moored. A thought about the future, moored. They can wait at the dock. They do not need to follow you into the temple of sleep. Now imagine the lamp beside your bed if you have one, or imagine a lamp even if you don't. Picture its light low and warm. Picture yourself turning it down. The room becomes darker, softer. The edges blur gently like a photograph going out of focus. This blurring is not loss, it is comfort. It is the world saying, you do not have to be sharp tonight. You do not have to be alert. You are allowed to dissolve into rest. Now the watchman lies down. The woven mat meets his back. The blanket covers him. His wife has already fallen asleep, her breathing slow and steady. The lamp is extinguished. The darkness arrives like a soft blanket layered over everything. He thinks for one brief moment of the stars. He thinks of the old stories, the sky visitors, the Abzu, the motherly hands shaping clay. He feels a quiet gratitude, not for certainty, but for the way stories make the night feel shared. Then his thoughts loosen, then he drifts. And you can drift too. In the next part, we will begin our gentle return toward the end of the journey. The soft reflection, the closing reassurance, the quiet message that the most beautiful things come in silence and that you are safe to let go now. For now, stay sealed, stay held, stay warm. The night does not ask you to be brave. It does not ask you to be efficient or sharp or certain. It only asks you to soften. Imagine again the river at the edge of the ancient city. The canals have gone dark, the last lamp has been turned low, and the air has cooled into something gentle. Water moves with a sound so steady it feels like a hand on the back. Above, the stars are simple points of light, patient and unhurried. They do not chase each other. They do not compete. They simply keep their places, and in doing so, they make the sky feel trustworthy. Tonight, our story has carried you through stone corridors and into the Abzu, through lists of kings and the slow hourglass of time, through the idea of a spark placed into clay, through the mercy of forgetting and the simple practice of sealing the vessel. None of it needed to be proven to be soothing. A lullaby does not need to be literal to calm the body. It needs only to be steady, kind, and spacious enough for your thoughts to set down their weight. So let the meaning settle now, like silt returning to the riverbed. If you picture the temple corridor, you can picture how the walls hold their coolness without effort. Stone does not rush. Stone does not worry about the future. Stone simply is. And in that simple being, stone teaches a tired mind a quiet lesson. You are allowed to exist without performing. Water, too, teaches. Water does not cling to any one shape. It moves around what is hard. It finds the lower place. It keeps going, not with force, but with persistence. It remembers by touching, not by gripping. It returns not because it is trapped, but because it belongs. Between stone and water, the ancient story offers you a gentle balance. Be steady like stone where you need steadiness, and be flowing like water where you need release. Perhaps that is the real treasure hidden beneath the myth. Not gold in the rock, but a way of living inside time. A way of carrying your life without squeezing it too tightly. Think of the watchman one more time. He has done his rounds. He has checked the canals, listened for stray footsteps, watched the lamps in windows dim one by one. Now he has returned to his own small room. He has closed the door. He has sealed the day outside. Inside, the air is warm. A blanket lies folded. A bowl is set aside, clean. The ordinary world has become calm. He lies down, and for a moment, before sleep takes him, he feels the strange tenderness of being human, to work, to worry, to wonder, and still to need rest. He does not judge himself for needing it. He simply accepts it, the way the earth accepts nightfall. If you have judged yourself lately for being tired, let the watchman's acceptance offer you relief. Tiredness is not a personal failure. It is a signal of a living body. It is the lantern asking to be sheltered. It is the vessel asking to be covered so the flame can keep burning tomorrow. Now let your attention move gently through your own body, the way lamplight moves through a quiet room. Notice your forehead. Let it smooth. Notice your eyes. Let the muscles around them soften as if you are setting down a small, invisible weight. Notice your jaw. Let it loosen. Notice your shoulders. Allow them to drop even a little, as if gravity has become kinder. Notice your hands. Let the fingers uncurl. Notice your chest. Feel the breath arrive and leave without being managed. You do not have to force relaxation. You only have to stop resisting it. In the ancient stories, people sometimes believed that a temple was a bridge between worlds. Tonight, let your bed be that bridge. A bridge between the day you carried and the night that will carry you. A bridge between thinking and dreaming. A bridge between the outer world and the inner reservoir. If your mind brings up a worry, imagine placing it in a clay jar. You can picture the jar's rough surface, cool and solid. You can picture the lid. You can set the worry inside and close the lid gently. Not angrily, not dramatically, just with the quiet confidence that the jar can hold it until morning. If another worry arrives, give it its own jar. If another thought arrives, give it a place to rest. This is not avoidance, this is care. This is the ancient skill of knowing when to stop working. Now, as the night deepens, the myth becomes smaller, softer, closer to the heart. The sky travelers, if they existed in any sense, become less important than what the story awakens in you, the feeling of being part of something long, the feeling of being connected to countless human evenings when people looked at the stars and felt their lives slow. The feeling that you are not the first to be tired and you will not be the last. You are simply one warm light in a long line of lights. Here, no one rests alone. Even when you are in your own room, you are in the company of all the gentle nights that came before. Somewhere in the city, a baker wakes early. He will knead dough with slow, practiced hands. He will light a small oven. Warmth will spread through the street like a quiet blessing. Somewhere else, a farmer will step into the fields and feel damp soil underfoot. He will listen for birds. He will look at the sky for signs of weather. Life will continue, simple and steady. You do not have to follow it right now. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to be still while the world carries on without you for a few hours. This is one of the deepest comforts of sleep. It proves gently that you are not required to control everything. The river will keep moving. The stars will keep shining. The morning will arrive on its own. All you need to do is rest. If you feel that quiet ember in you, the ray of light you carry, let it be protected now. You can picture it as a candle flame. You can cup your hands around it. You can turn away from the wind. You can let the flame burn small and steady, not bright and demanding. And if you want a simple phrase to hold as you drift, you can hold this: I am a vessel, and tonight I am sealed. I am safe to be quiet. I am safe to sleep. Let the phrase repeat softly, not like a command, but like a lullaby. I am a vessel. I am sealed. I am safe. Now let the imagery fade toward the simplest truth: your bed, your blanket, your breath. Feel the fabric against your skin. Feel the weight of the blanket, light or heavy, steady either way. Feel the pillow receiving your head. Feel the small surrender of muscles letting go. If the past is stone, let it be cool and still. If the future is water, let it flow quietly somewhere beyond the door. And you, in the middle, can rest like a small boat tied to a dock, rocking gently, not traveling, simply being held. And if your mind, in this drifting state, reaches for a memory, an old street, a childhood room, a face you have not seen in years, let it come, the way moonlight comes through curtains, softly, without forcing you to look. Memory does not have to be loud. It can be a warm color on the inside of the eyelids or the smell of rain on pavement. In the Riverlands, scribes believed that what was pressed into clay could outlast the fragile body. They were right. A tablet can wait under sand and return centuries later with its quiet marks intact. But there is also a tablet inside you, written by experience, by love, by ordinary days. That tablet does not need to be read tonight. It only needs to rest. Sometimes, just before sleep, the mind offers a small moment of déjà vu, a sense that this breath has happened before, this darkness is familiar, this quiet is ancient. If that happens, let it be comforting. Perhaps it is simply your nervous system recognizing safety and settling into it. Picture the Abzu again, deep, sweet water beneath stone. It does not shout up to the surface, it nourishes from below. In the same way, your calm does not need to be dramatic. It can be quiet nourishment. With each exhale, imagine you are sinking a little closer to that deep water, not falling, just settling. With each inhale, imagine you are taking in a little of its cool steadiness. With each exhale, let go of heat, pressure, and the day's sharp edges. Outside your room, the world is full of lights, traffic lights, office lights, phone screens. Inside your room, you can keep only one light, the light that matters, the light of being alive, the light of being allowed to rest. And somewhere in that quiet, the story becomes very simple. Whatever was placed into clay, whether myth, metaphor, or mystery, it points to a gentle truth. You were made to continue not by force, but by softness, not by constant effort, but by cycles, wake and sleep, work and rest, remember and forget, like the river, flowing, pausing, flowing again. Tonight, let the cycle hold you gently again. In the next part, we will begin the final descent into sleep, bringing the story toward its soft closing. A last reflection, a last reassurance, and the gentle reminder that the most beautiful things always arrive in silence. For now, let silence arrive. Let the room grow darker behind your eyelids. Let the river sound become your breathing. Let the stars become the slow pulsing of calm in your chest. And drift, whenever you are ready, into the safe, deep waters of rest. Stay with me a little longer, in the gentlest way. If you have already begun to drift, you can let my words become distant, like a radio playing in another room. You don't need to hold on to every sentence. You can simply let the sound carry you the way a slow train carries someone through the dark without asking them to steer. Tonight we have walked through an ancient landscape, but the heart of it has always been simple. A human being learning how to feel safe enough to sleep. So now let the story fold inward. Imagine the river once more, but quieter than before. The surface is almost still. The reeds no longer sway, they only breathe. The air feels clean, cooled by night. And the city's last murmurs have settled. In the distance, the ziggurat stands like a calm silhouette, not an ambition, not a monument, just a steady shape that reminds the body. Some things are firm, and you can lean on them. The lamp in our story has grown dim. The clay tablet rests where we left it, dust gathered in its tiny grooves. It does not demand to be decoded. It does not insist on being proven. It simply exists, and its quietness is part of its beauty. And maybe that is the softest truth of all. The past does not need your anxiety to survive. It does not need your constant attention. It can remain cool and still, like stone beneath water, while you rest. In modern life, we often treat the mind like a worker who must always be on duty. We ask it to plan, predict, improve, defend, remember, and fix. We keep it under bright lights. We keep it standing even when it wants to sit. And then we are surprised when it cannot fall asleep easily. But the old world knew something we still forget. The mind is also a place to lay down. It is allowed to be unguarded. It is allowed to be quiet. So if you feel the mind resisting sleep, don't scold it. Imagine it as a tired guardian who has been awake for too many nights. You can offer it a chair. You can offer it a warm drink. You can say softly, "Thank you, I've got it from here. You can rest now." The guardian will not surrender all at once, but it may loosen its grip a little, and that is enough. Now return to the image of being a vessel carrying a ray of light. We have held this phrase gently, not as a dramatic destiny, but as a tender way of seeing yourself. A vessel is trusted. A vessel is useful. A vessel is not ashamed of holding something delicate. But here is the next quiet step. A vessel is also allowed to be empty sometimes. You are allowed to set the light down. You are allowed to let the lantern cool. You are allowed to be nothing but breath and blanket and softness. This is not giving up. This is refilling. Even the river pauses in still pools. Even the moon disappears for nights and returns. Even the temple's lamps are extinguished and lit again. Rest is part of the rhythm that keeps the light alive. And there is another gentle truth hiding in the myth, one that can soothe the heart of anyone who has felt lonely or unseen. If we are vessels, we are not solitary vessels, we are a fleet. We are many small boats on the same dark water, each carrying a small warmth, each rocking gently in the night. Some boats are close enough to hear each other, some are far apart, but the water connects them all. The current knows every hull. The night sky looks down on every traveler. Here, no one rests alone. If loneliness has visited you lately, let that sentence be a soft blanket. You do not need to argue with loneliness tonight. You can simply sit beside it, like sitting beside a quiet stranger on a bench, and let it be present without letting it take over the whole room. You can remind yourself there are others, awake in their own homes, also trying to rest, also carrying invisible weights, also longing for peace. Your breath is part of a shared human breathing. Now, we can let the myth become even simpler. Forget the names if they feel heavy. Forget the arguments if they have ever made you tense. Keep only the images that soothe, cool stone corridors, a low lamp behind a clay shade, water beneath the floor dripping patiently, a garden at night protected from harsh wind, a sealed jar keeping something clean, a boat rocking in a canal tied safely to its post, a ziggurat terrace under stars where a watcher sits and feels small in a comforting way. These images are enough. They are the lullaby. Now bring your attention back to where you are. Maybe you are in a bedroom with a ceiling, or on a couch with a blanket pulled up, or in a room that feels temporary. Hotel curtains, a different hum in the air. Wherever you are, there are a few steady facts you can lean on. The surface beneath you is holding you. Gravity is doing the work for you. The air is arriving and leaving, and you do not have to earn it. If the room has sounds, an air conditioner, a fan, distant traffic, a settling house, let them become part of the river. Let them be a steady current rather than a disturbance. You can imagine each sound as a reed bending in night wind. It moves, then it stills, and the world remains safe. And if your mind tries to measure time, how late it is, how early you must wake, how many hours are left, see if you can loosen that measuring. Time is not a judge in this room. Time is simply water. It flows, you float. That is all. You might even place a gentle hand on your chest or belly, if that feels comforting, and notice the warmth of your own touch. A hand is one of the oldest reassurances. Before words, before explanations, there was warmth, there was contact, there was the simple message, you are here and you are held. Let that message sink in slowly. If a memory surfaces, you can greet it kindly. If a regret surfaces, you can greet it kindly too. You do not have to wrestle anything in the dark. Night is not the arena for winning. Night is the cradle for softening. And if you feel that tender ache of being human, the longing for a clearer path, the desire to feel understood, the quiet wish that life were easier, let the story answer with the smallest kindness. It's okay. It's okay to be unfinished. It's okay to be learning. It's okay to be tired. Somewhere, far behind us in the riverlands, a lamp is being turned down. Somewhere, in the present, another listener is doing the same. and somewhere inside you, a little switch is slowly moving from bright to dim. Not all at once, just enough. So take one slow inhale, as if you were drawing in a ribbon of starlight, and take one slow exhale, as if you are letting that starlight settle into your bones, becoming calm weight. Again, inhale and exhale, nothing to achieve, only the simple practice of arriving. Because the softest truth is this: you have done enough for today. You can stop now. You can rest now. And beneath them, a quiet message repeats: your nervous system can come home now. Home does not have to be a place you can point to on a map. Home can be a sensation, the shoulders dropping, the belly softening, the breath deepening. Home can be the moment you stop scanning for danger. Home can be the dark itself when it feels safe. If you want to, imagine opening a door inside yourself. Not a dramatic door, just a simple wooden door in a quiet hallway. Behind it is a room with no tasks, no screens, no deadlines, only a soft floor and a gentle light. This is the room where you are allowed to be unproductive, the room where you are allowed to be held. Step inside, close the door. You do not have to lock it, you can simply let it rest in its frame. Now, in that inner room, you can place the day down, place down the conversations, place down the plans, place down the what-ifs, place down the old stories you replay, place down the parts of yourself that try so hard. Let them sit quietly like shoes by the door. You can pick them up tomorrow if you want. They will still be there. Tonight, you do not need them. Now imagine the ancient scribe one last time. He finishes his line of cuneiform, then sets the stylus down. He rubs his fingers together, feeling the clay dust. He looks at the tablet with calm eyes, then covers it with cloth. It is not hidden in fear, it is simply protected from wind. He knows that some things become truer when they are allowed to rest. Then he blows out the lamp. Darkness arrives, and the darkness is not empty. It is full of quiet life. The river, the stars, the sleeping city, the patient Abzu beneath stone. The world is still working in its own way. Even when you stop, you can trust that, you can let go. In the next and final part, we will sink even deeper into the closing of the night, into a gentle farewell, and into the soft permission to sleep without needing to carry any more meaning than your breath. For now, let the words thin out, let the pauses grow longer, let your body drift, and if sleep takes you before the story ends, that is not a loss. That is the point. Good. Very good. Just keep breathing. If you are still listening, let my voice be a soft shoreline. Not a place you have to reach, but a quiet edge where the waves slow down. Imagine the river one last time, just outside the ancient city. The water is dark and calm, carrying moonlight in thin, trembling ribbons. A reed boat is tied to a post. It rocks once, twice, then grows still. The rope holds without pulling. The current moves without hurry. Everything is doing what it was made to do. Farther back, the ziggurat stands in silhouette, steps stacked like slow breaths. Inside its thick walls, corridors cool and quiet keep their gentle secrets. Beneath them, the Abzu waits like deep, sweet water under stone, steady and unafraid. And above it all, the stars remain, small, patient lights, watching without judging. Tonight's story may be history, legend, or a dream stitched from ancient dust, because what it offered you was not fear, not drama, not an urgent conclusion. It offered you a place to soften. It offered you a way to set down the day. If the old tale ever spoke of gold, let it fade now. Let the heavy shine fall away. Keep only the gentler treasure. Survival through tenderness and light carried quietly. Keep the image of a lantern sheltered from wind. Keep the image of a vessel sealed for the night. Keep the idea that life continues best when it is allowed to rest. And if the myth ever asked a question why they came, what they sought, what was placed into clay, Let those questions become mist. Mist does not need answers. Mist only needs air. Let the unknown stay unknown. Let it be soft, like a blanket over the mind. Before we finish, let the night slow even more, as if the whole world is turning the volume down. Imagine dust on the clay tablet settling, one grain at a time, until the surface looks calm again. No one is brushing it away. No one is rushing to read. The tablet is resting, and that resting is part of how it lasts. If your thoughts are still active, you can treat them the same way. Let each thought be a grain of dust. Let it fall. Let it land. You do not have to catch it in mid-air. Even if a thought returns, you can nod to it like a passing traveler and let it keep walking. You are not required to solve anything in the dark. The dark is for mending quietly tonight again. Sometimes it helps to return to the body in small, gentle steps. So if you like, we can take a slow walk through your senses, quietly, without effort. Feel your feet wherever they are, under a blanket or resting on a sheet. Notice their weight. Notice how the bed supports them, the way a riverbank supports a stone. Feel your lower back and hips. Let gravity do its kind work here. Let the mattress take what you've been carrying. Feel your belly. See if it can soften a little, as if you are loosening a belt you wore all day. A softer belly tells the heart, we're safe. Feel your chest. Notice the rise of the inhale. Notice the fall of the exhale. Imagine each exhale as a small wave returning to the sea. Imagine each inhale as the sea offering you calm again. Feel your shoulders. If they are lifted, let them melt down a fraction. Not all at once, just a fraction. Feel your throat and jaw. Let the tongue rest. Let the teeth part. Let the face become smooth, as if you are letting go of the day's expressions. Now behind closed eyes, picture a single lantern on a riverboat. It glows steadily, protected by glass. The boat does not need to travel tonight, it only needs to float. If you want, take 3 slow breaths with me. On the first exhale, let go of what you did today. On the second exhale, let go of what you didn't do. On the third exhale, let go of what you think you should be, just for tonight. And when you notice yourself drifting, let the drifting be enough. Sleep is not a test you pass. Sleep is a door that opens when you stop pushing on it. Somewhere beyond your room, the world continues in its gentle cycle. Rivers keep moving, the sky keeps turning. Morning will arrive on its own. So you can rest now. In the riverlands, the last lamps are already out. Homes have gone dark, children are curled on woven mats, workers have released their tools, even the dogs have stopped listening for footsteps. The city is resting in its own deep way, as if the whole world has agreed to breathe more slowly. Now bring that agreement into your room. Feel the surface beneath you. Feel how it holds you without asking for anything back. Notice the temperature on your skin. Cool air at the cheeks, warmth under the blanket. Notice the small sounds around you and let them become part of the night's river. A fan becomes wind in reeds. Distant traffic becomes water moving through a canal. A settling house becomes stone cooling after sun. Everything can belong. If you want a simple practice, make it smaller than thought. Inhale gently and exhale a little longer. Inhale and exhale. Let the exhale tell your body, I'm safe enough to let go. No forcing, no striving. Just the quiet repetition of being here. Now remember the line that has walked beside us like a lantern. Here, no one rests alone. Every story from the past is a soft lantern in the dark, gently lighting our way tonight. Let it land as comfort, not as a slogan. Even if you are alone in the room, you are not alone in the act of resting. There are other listeners, other tired hearts, other bodies seeking quiet. Across time, across distance, across different lives, we share this simple human need, to be held by night and to wake a little lighter. If you felt a soft déjà vu in the story, an unfamiliar place that still seemed strangely known, you can let it be gentle. Perhaps it was only your nervous system recognizing calm. Perhaps it was the mind touching an old pattern and relaxing into it. Perhaps it was simply the beauty of being reminded that you belong to the long weave of human evenings. And now, the thread of the story begins to loosen from your fingers. You do not have to hold it any longer. You can let it slip away the way sand slips through an hourglass, quietly, naturally. Nothing is lost. It is simply returning to rest. In the temple's deepest corridor, the listening stone remains. It will still be there tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, holding the echoes of many lives. In the Abzu beneath, the water keeps its steady hush. It does not need you to stay awake. It will keep nourishing the world in silence. And in you, the small ember, your ray of light, can burn smaller tonight, protected and calm. If you are a vessel carrying a ray of light, let that ray be simple right now. The permission to sleep soundly, the willingness to stop trying, the kindness of letting your body repair. You can picture that ray like a tiny candle flame. Cup your hands around it in your imagination. Then, gently place a glass over it, so it can keep glowing without wind, not trapped, protected, not hidden, resting. And if there is anything you have been carrying, an apology you have not said, a decision you have not made, a worry that has circled for days, imagine setting it on the table beside the clay tablet. You don't have to throw it away, you only have to set it down. Tonight, it can be quiet. Tonight, it can wait. Now, let us take one last walk through the garden. Leaves are dark and glossy. Water runs in narrow channels with a soft, steady sound. The air is warm enough to feel safe, cool enough to feel fresh. Nothing chases you here, nothing demands a result. The garden is simply a protected place where life can continue gently. And this is what sleep is too, a protected place, a dome of quiet, a greenhouse for the nervous system. A night where the body does its secret work, mending small tears, sorting memories, washing the mind clean. If you have been overwhelmed, let that be enough. You do not have to be strong tonight. You only have to be supported by your bed, your breath, your blanket. And if your mind tries to return to the day, you can guide it back as you would guide a sleepy child, softly, again and again, without frustration. Now, we come to the simplest message in all the ancient dust. The most beautiful things always arrive in silence. They arrive when the lamp is low. They arrive when the jaw unclenches. They arrive when the heart stops scanning for danger. They arrive when you let the river carry you instead of trying to carry the river. So let silence arrive now. Let the pauses grow. Let my words thin out until they are only a distant hum. You don't need the story anymore. You already have what you need, a safe moment and the permission to rest. If tonight's story reminded you of a beautiful memory, feel free to share it below, only when you're ready. And if this story brought you calm, leave a gentle comment for yourself, like a small note of kindness. Don't forget to subscribe for more peaceful nighttime journeys. Now nothing else is required. Your only task is to drift. Rest now. The past is stone, cool, steady, unmoving. The future is water, flowing somewhere beyond the door. And you are allowed to be the quiet space between them. Good night, dear listener. May your breath be slow. May your mind be soft. May your sleep be deep like the Abzu beneath the world.
Our story pauses here. Every visual and word you've experienced was assisted by AI, yet guided and perfected by sincere human emotion. We hope this harmony of history and technology has crafted a beautiful dream for you tonight. Let go and drift deep into sleep. Good night.